guys lean heavily on like Hugh's? Obviously, one of the reasons you hired Hugh is because of his ability with quarterbacks. Did you get a sense from him that he was willing to say, hey, I like Robert, I like where we are, we don't need a quarterback? Or how did you guys decide to, like you said, there's a little bit of risk involved, and it's not an indictment on them, but why did you guys decide to go ahead and pass on them then?
Yeah, well, we've got 4 quarterbacks here competing to be our starting quarterback, and Connor and Austin and Josh and Robert. But we absolutely worked hand in hand with Pep and Hugh, Andrew, Paul, myself, others here in the building. Had some discussions with Jimmy as well to bring him up to speed in terms of where we were. And we kind of put all the information on the table and got through some healthy discussions. You know, not easy decisions, obviously, to move out of 2 with some talented quarterbacks potentially being at that spot for us to take. But we felt like this was the better bet, and there was consensus and agreement in that decision.
To what extent did Robert's presence influence the deal?
And I'm being very honest with you guys, it never did. I mean, I know everybody feels that because he's here. I don't think Robert's being here really influenced the thinking. I've said all along that we were still in our process of seeing what was best for us. And as an organization, we had an opportunity to make a trade. We made it, and that had nothing to do with the quarterback. I mean, I'm going to say it again. This was what we feel is best for us to do. And at the end of the day, it is the best thing for us to do. And I'm excited about it.
You guys made a pretty good investment in Robert, you know, and you brought him in and you worked him out. Is it normal to, I guess, be hesitant about turning over the starting job to him, or does he need to show you, what does he need to show you for you to say that he's going to be the guy?
Well, it's like every player on our football team. They got to earn the right, you know, to be the starter here for the Browns, you know. I mean, right now, I mean, outside of Joe Thomas, there's not a lot of guys that have a lot of skins on the wall for me, you know. And so, and Joe will be the first to tell you, he knows he has to be at his best as like everybody else. So I'm not in the business of handing anybody anything. You know, I think we're going to have to earn the right to play for us and to be on this roster and be on this football team at every position. It's not just quarterback. It's every position on our football team.
You talk about having 4 quarterbacks on the roster, but did signing Robert enable you guys to focus less on a quarterback at number 2 and allow you to move back in the draft?
No, you know, Robert's not even our starting quarterback yet. He's got to earn that spot. So I would say no there. I think, you know, is he another piece of our roster? Absolutely. You know, in terms of bringing Robert to Cleveland, we're excited about the potential for him to earn that starting job. But I think on its merits of 2 versus what we were able to acquire, this was the right choice for building our roster and where we sit now.
We've talked about quarterbacks a bunch, but if you're not guaranteed that Robert turns into the franchise guy, where do you now find your franchise quarterback if you don't take him at 2?
Yes, and I think the first thing, Scott, not to be, you know, argumentative about it, but even if you take one at 1 or 2, it's not like you've solved it. You know, we've taken first-round quarterbacks previously; those haven't panned out. Some very high here in Cleveland. But nonetheless, you know, we know that quarterbacks come from different spots in the draft. But as Terry sitting behind you has articulated vehemently over the last month or so, there's no guarantees, even if you take a guy at 1 or 2. And we felt like where our roster was, the better decision was to acquire the first next year, the second in 18, and 2 additional picks here, and still be picking at 8. So we like where we're sitting.
Do you feel any more secure about your position given the trade that took place yesterday?
No, you know, just focused on what we can control as players in that locker room. So we don't really worry about those things. And, you know, everybody's here to earn a job. The only person that doesn't have to really earn it is Joe Thomas. And, you know, he's got 9 Pro Bowls to speak to that.
Said, you know, RG3 is not our starting quarterback. He's got to earn that job. I mean, if he doesn't come in here and win that job, I mean, where are you at that position?
Well, listen, we have Connor and Austin and Josh here competing along with Robert, and that's what we want to provide, Tony, which is competition at that position. We won't be panicked. We feel like those guys are going to compete their butts off, get into this system, and we'll evaluate it as time bears out. We know what we'll do when we get to September is have a starting quarterback on this roster, get behind him, and support the heck out of him. So.
Rob, what sort of message does it send to you and the other quarterbacks on this trade, that they believe in the guys. What does that say? What does the message say?
No, I mean, like I said, don't really worry about it. You just focus on what's at hand each day, conquering each day, getting better, and learn the language that we're speaking on offense, and be able to go out there and execute it.